to have, I think, one of the most phenomenal, beautiful, amazing business leaders and my friend on the planet, Marie Forleo, to join us this morning. So, she's fun, and I'm super excited to be able to have this chat with her this morning. Well, so many of us are going through so many discombobulated times. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you, Lisa?
I am good, my beautiful friend. It is so nice to see you. What an absolute joy and pleasure, and how needed it is right now. How
Oh,
are you? How are you doing over there?
we're doing, you know what? We're doing great actually. In terms of the world, as we know, right? We're still not out of the woods yet. We've got this Delta variant, and it's really tricky all over the world. We got to take care of each other, but we're here, we're hanging on, and we're gonna make it through.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I don't know if you know, but we're on tomorrow will be day 30, I think, or something, of Sydney lockdown. So that's our strategy at the moment. We keep going into lockdown, but I think this is just such a beautiful, amazing time to connect with you. I have so many, it's so good to see you. So many of our community just adore you and adore B School. And I tell you, it gives me shivers because the last live we did together was in February last year, and it was just before we all went into this crazy, unprecedented world. And I've got to tell you, before I start asking you a billion questions, because I know everyone's so keen to hear from you, it was extraordinary. I jumped into being a partner on B School last year, and it was just as everyone went into this kind of crazy, discombobulated, uncertain, the rug had been pulled out from under so many small businesses and startups and entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs. And you know what was so beautiful? I was going to do 3 Zoom calls as part of my hand holding. I ended up doing 10, I think. I fell so in love with my B School cohort, and it was so beautiful. I had one girl, Tamara, who had a dance school out in the western suburbs of Sydney, one studio. Suddenly it was closed down. And as we went through B School, she turned it into this extraordinary online portal and suddenly had little kids dancing from all over the world. Another woman, Amanda, who just started out in recruitment, she is now my go-to recruiter. I have engaged her to do all of my recruitment. So I've just got so many beautiful stories. So I just want to say a massive thank you to you and the work that you do, because honestly, when we all started with B School, well, it was February last year, we've put it back a little this year. Yeah, the impact that you have had and that it has had, and the joy that I have had following along and like mentoring people alongside you has been extraordinary. So thank you.
Oh,
Anyway.
thank you. These stories are incredible, and I love hearing them because I think all of us always need hope. And that was probably one of the biggest things that was surfaced for me because, we had just had a whole big new class of international students, and then the world
Yeah.
went into lockdown. And one of the biggest messages that I received over and over again from so many B schoolers was, thank goodness I'm in class, because I'm surrounded by all of these amazing people who we can all support each other and brainstorm different ways to change what we're doing, to speed what we're doing forward, to try something very new. And there was a lot of comfort, and there was humor, and there was understanding and compassion, and just, it was really, really powerful. So thank you for being one of our partners, for mentoring your cohort of B schoolers, because I know what a difference you make. You have so much wisdom and expertise, and your energy is just off the charts. And that's what we all need, because hard times, my goodness, they are a part of life. And this won't be the last time that we all go through something really challenging and really unsettling, and where we feel like the rug's been pulled out from underneath us. This happens to be a collective time, but all of us have those individual times too. So I think that having people that get you, that understand what it's like, that know both the fears and also the fulfillment that comes from running your own business, it's something really special.
Thank you. Yeah, and before we jump into talking a bit more about B School, I don't know if you know this. This is my 20th year in business.
Congratulations.
I think we're about similar, but
Yes.
yeah, 22nd of October this year, I've had businesses for 20 years. So there's little that I haven't seen or failed at or experienced or
Right.
so I think it's really, beautiful to go alongside you and your teachings on this journey. And I think, I don't know what has happened for you in your experience, but particularly over the last year, I feel like so many traditional bricks and mortar businesses or people who are thinking of starting a bricks and mortar business have needed so much the digital skills and know-how. And I think that's why B School has been just extraordinary, actually stepping people through every single thing to digitize their business, take it online. And I have to say, for me personally, even though I'm in my 20th year in business, our e-commerce business has absolutely catapulted. In fact, my revenue this year is 3 times up on this time last year, which, given we're in the middle of a pandemic, is very nice. So I have also been following along with our beautiful B School students, like everything you say, and I got to tell everyone watching, it freaking works. So again, thank you.
Oh
so
my Yes, that makes me so thrilled. Lisa, one of my people often ask me, like, what motivates you? Seeing other people win. That is one of my greatest joys in life, is hearing and seeing other people win. And so thank you for sharing that for all of us, because it is a beacon of possibility and hope. In so many parts of the world and in so much of what we hear and see in media, it's often bad news. And of course, we need to be aware of what's happening so that we can solve problems. But it's also really fantastic to hear about great news as well, so that we can keep our eye on the prize and we can use our gifts to not only grow, but then use that fulfillment and that positivity, that optimism and that sense of growth to support others. So thank you for that.
My pleasure, and thank you. But I think that's the thing I always say, we can't control what comes at us, but we can control our mindset and how we learn to respond. And I think having the tools and other people who've been there and done it, we are continuously learning. Some days I still surprise myself. I think, oh my gosh, I'm 20 years into business and I'm just learning this now. But I think that's the beautiful thing about being surrounded by amazing, like-minded, extraordinary people, is that we continue on that learning path. So tell me, B School,
Yes.
Tell me, for people who are watching this and don't know, why did you start and why have we moved it this year? Because every year normally we kick off in February, yes. I think, but you've taken it to a US summer, our yes. freezing cold winter, but it's a perfect time here to bunker down.
Yes. So for me, it was really a function of the fact that when I was starting my business a little over 20 years ago, I needed to learn about entrepreneurship. I mean, they don't teach you this in school, and I certainly didn't learn about it in my education at all. And I was so passionate about making this tiny little coaching business work that what I did was I signed up for, any kind of small business conference, seminar, any kind of experience that I could in order to learn the basics. Because as you know, Lisa, and for everyone watching, you guys know this too, you can be amazing at your craft. So for me, the craft was around coaching and helping people create transformational results in their life as quickly as possible. Or you might be a great chef or an artist or, a video producer or whatever it is that your craft is, the thing that you do, an accountant, a doctor, who knows? But then there's the business side of doing the thing that you do. And so I was becoming really good at my craft, and I knew that the only way that my business was going to survive is to get good at the business side of it. So in the course of educating myself, I started to notice something. First of all, I noticed, and by the way, what I'm about to say, I absolutely adore men. I love all people. But when I would go to these conferences back in probably the year 2000, 2001, around then, it was 99.9% men on the stage and all in the audience. And I was just like, what's going on? I just felt so out of place. And the particular places where I went, again, at this time, so this is 20 years ago, just to put it in context, a lot of the messaging I was hearing was about how do you extract as much profit as possible from your customers? And it just felt very soulless. And it wasn't my particular kind of values in terms of business and how businesses could or should be run. There was no sense of humor involved. I didn't really feel a sense of soul or spirituality. So anyway, I was just like, wow, I just remember coming off of these things and I would learn stuff, but I said, I feel like there's this much better way. And then simultaneously, Lisa, I started having a lot of people primarily women, ask me about, how are you running this business? Like, how does this work? I have an idea that I want to start my own thing. I don't want to go get an MBA necessarily. I just kind of want to start it on the side. And when I would explain to them, you have to really master sales and marketing, they would shut down. They'd say, oh, well, I don't want to sound like a used car salesman. I'm the creative person. Somebody else should handle that. I need to go find a partner. And Lisa, can I tell you, I wanted to shake people, like lovingly shake them because they were my friends. I was like, no, everyone had so many negative associations with sales and marketing, especially big-hearted creative people who wanted to make a difference. And I was like, you're missing out on so much. Like, this is the engine that makes the thing that you love actually work. And so I saw an opportunity. I said, well, what if I could create a program that teaches all the stuff that I wish I had learned when I first started my coaching practice to help people kind of speed up their journey, and to not have them feel turned off by sales and marketing, but to show them that modern marketing, which is what we teach in B School, when you're practicing that kind of marketing, the best of your humanity comes out, not the worst. What do I mean by that? Your generosity, your empathy and compassion, your desire to serve people, your desire to listen, your creativity, like all of your best traits need to fire in order for you to do really effective modern marketing. And there's nothing sleazy or scammy or aggressive about it. And when I put this curriculum together, I honestly didn't know, Lisa. I was like, I don't know if people are going to get it. Like, I have this idea of
they get it.
Yes, but that's kind of where it came from. And then it just started to take off because I think people were so hungry, if they're not necessarily an MBA, if they don't necessarily come from a family where business is, talked about all the time, but they just feel something in their heart and they want to make it come to life. This is that roadmap that allows them to do so in a way, especially if they were like me. I started my business like, tens of thousands of dollars in debt. So I didn't have any other resources. I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I wanted to be able to help. So that's how B School came to be. I think it's over 12 years now. One of the reasons that we're doing it now, your winter, our summer, is because of the state of the world that we're in. And I was like, people need these skills right now. And I feel like there's this very kind of special little window of opportunity that is open because we're all in so much transition. And I had this intuitive hit that there's a lot of people out there that are itching to either start or grow something in a new way. And I know that we have the tools that can help them get there. And I wanted to make that opportunity available because I love what I do so much.
Well, thank you. And thank you for your story. I love, you started 2001 as well. Did we start businesses the same year?
Yeah. Like, I started my coach training, I think in like 1999. And then by the time it was all in that little zone. And by the way, you were probably much more official than I was. I was just like, okay, I'm taking free clients and anyone who will pay. Like, it was just very messy. It was very insecure. It was a hot mess, but I did it and I got started, and that's all that mattered.
Well, actually, that's probably a good point there to underline a few things. No, I was very messy and all over the place. And I think this is a really important thing for anyone watching who wants to start. I mean, it's a well-known fact in Australia, and I've spoken and written about it ad nauseum, that I was a really slow learner. And for 11 years, I overserviced, undercharged, was everything to everyone, had no real semblance of who I was or where I was going or what my purpose was. Because like you, I was trying to find the answers, and I was sitting in these rooms with people that I really didn't resonate with. So this is where I think, now is the right time, because there are so many people who want to start a business, who've started a business, but it's a bricks and mortar business. And they're really like, what do I do now? How do I digitize? How do I market? How do I pivot, adapt, morph, iterate, change, all the words we can throw around at the moment. And so I think this is an amazing time. So thank you again. What would you say, who is B School for? Because I know a lot of people are like, well, I've got an idea, or I'm an established entrepreneur. And as I've just said, 20 years in, as I was taking my cohort through last year, I was like having so many aha moments again, which I have implemented and have had massive impacts on my business. So who would you say that it's for?
So great question. And I want to unpack this answer a little bit. So for people who know that they want to start a business, like, you may not know exactly what that business is, but there is something inside of you that's like, I'm meant to go on this path, right? I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know the product. I don't know the service, but something in me is so clear that I have to do this. you would be perfect for B School, and here's why. First of all, we have a program within B School because we over deliver. It's called Start the Right Business, and it helps take someone who knows that they want to start their own thing, and whether you don't have an idea and you need to generate viable ideas, you have too many ideas and you don't want to choose one, or you have one or two and you're afraid to kind of move forward because you don't want to waste time or money and fall on your face. We help you test, validate, go through those ideas so you feel really confident that the one or two that you've chosen to move forward with, you have a really good chance of understanding what could make it successful. No one has a business crystal ball, right? But you just really have done the homework and asked yourself the right questions. And then you have the steps to take to dip your toe in the water in a way that will prove to you whether or not you want to keep going. So that crowd, amazing. Plus, I will say this, I've had so many people, we've had, over 66,000 folks go through B School. And one of the most common things I hear from people at the beginning of their journey is, why did I wait so long? I wasted so much money doing all these different things trying to figure it out when you could have saved me all this time and money if I just did B School like years earlier. And I was like, that's why I promote, because I want to get you in because I don't want you wasting time and money. So that's for those folks. For folks who are more seasoned, this is my answer. So I think, Lisa, you and I share a lot of DNA like this. I am in always student mode, right? Always eager to learn, always eager to revisit the fundamentals, because I know after 20 years, it's never usually the shiny objects on top that make the big breakthroughs. It's me going back to those fundamental pillars where I have the biggest insights and the biggest breakthroughs, and that really deepen my ability to be effective in my business. Now, for someone who is more seasoned, if you take a look at, first of all, not only this video, but you take a look at our registration page and you're like, you know what, it just doesn't resonate for me. Like nothing about this makes anything fire up. Please don't join us, right? But if you're someone who maybe is more like Lisa and I, who you're like, gosh, after being a seasoned entrepreneur, and especially when you have momentum underneath you and you have a team, one idea or two ideas or two tweaks literally can equal hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in terms of revenue and bottom line profit. So that's why for me, the seasoned folks, and we've had folks come through the program who already have major New York Times bestsellers, multi-million-dollar businesses, but they have the mindset that, hey, look, I resonate with this vibe. I know that if Marie triggers something completely different in my mind, I will be able to take a new idea and capitalize it on a way that is just going to, again, add a lot of zeros to the bottom line and a lot more impact. Those are the kind of people that are going to do well. If you're like kind of got your arms crossed and you're like, I don't really know, you probably shouldn't do it. You probably shouldn't do it. Because again, not to be facetious, but I respect people's time and energy. And if that's kind of where you're coming from, then we want to direct you someplace else. But we have had people at every different stage of their business. Lisa, I think we've got, over 200 different case studies of people from over, my goodness, 600 different industries, fashion and farming and fishing and app companies, every kind of coach, consultant, expert you could possibly think of, all of the doctors and the lawyers and the attorneys and the every kind of business has been through B School. One of the most interesting ones recently, there was a flower farmer who had this dream of creating a whole flower farm. And I don't know if you have this in Australia, but we have a huge network here called the Magnolia Network, Chip and Joanna Gaines. It's a very big home style and lifestyle brand here. Anyway, they started their own channel, and now the B Schooler, who is this tiny little flower farmer, now has her own reality show on this new network, and her business is exploding. And it's just like, so anyone who sells to humans and you want to do so in a way that really honors your values, that honors your heart, your quirkiness, your personality, you want to pour all of that into your marketing, and you care about making not just money, but a difference, I would say to seriously consider joining us for B School, because we have a track record like no other. We care about our students and each other, and people just seem to come out on the other side on fire about themselves and about what they can do in the world.
Oh, so many things. I love it. So what you just said, I think the diversity of businesses, I was so beautifully astonished when all my B School cohort signed up with me, and I jumped on my first Zoom call with them last year, and I was like, wow, there is such diversity in businesses. But the beautiful thing is, and this we both know for sure after 20 years in business, is that we all follow a similar trajectory. It doesn't matter if you're a flower farmer or you're in fashion or you're whatever, a myriad of other things you're doing. We all go through more or less the same steps. But the beautiful thing with my cohort is we all got to know each other so well that everyone started cross-pollinating and sharing ideas and helping each other outside of our Zoom calls. And so it was a really, really important time. So yeah, I think what you've said is just extraordinary, and I'm so excited. I think something that would worry people, a lot of people say, I'm so busy already. Yeah. I mean, I can't stand the word busy. I always say productive. You know, are you really being busy? There's a big difference. But a lot of people, you know, when they're starting out there, or already when the world's in turmoil, they might say, you know, I've got so much on. I'm juggling a family. I'm trying to start a business. I'm just trying to make ends meet. I'm trying to transition from bricks and mortar to digital, and I don't know what I'm doing. And is this just another thing to throw onto my pile of overwhelm? Yes. So I can answer that, and maybe I'll start first. I think, you know, taking the time and space to educate ourselves and to sit and soak it in and to connect with other people and to learn and to slow down sometimes in order to speed up is the perfect recipe. What would you say to anyone who just thinks, oh, I just don't have time to put another thing into the mix right now?
100%. First of all, I can completely understand that, because I remember that feeling, and it's understandable. And you're working so hard. You've got so many things on your plate, and you've got so many things that you're responsible for, and you're doing the best job that you possibly can. And one of the things that we do, especially in the front end of B-School, when we talk about profit clarity, is we actually help you do a really smart analysis of all the things that you're doing, so that you can actually start to peel back some of what you may be doing that isn't effective, but it's taking up a ton of your time and a ton of your energy, and it's not giving you much return. So in module 1, we help you do a little analysis there, and what people have usually come out with when they look at the numbers, and when they not just look at profitability or profit margin, but they understand what is the ROI in terms of their joy, in terms of their energy. Are there pieces of their business that they've been doing and running so fast and trying to do everything, and they're like, wait a minute, what is this actually creating, and what's the negative impact here? And when you start to pull those pieces apart and put them back together, you actually create a lot more space, and you get more return, higher results with less effort and energy. And that blows people's minds. So yeah, there is going to be that little bit of a learning curve, but I always tell people, my goodness, if you can carve out like an hour or two that's just dedicated to your learning and your absorption. I don't quite know how it works, because it's been so magical over 12 years now of B-School, but you will find ways, and you'll be like, I am earning so much more money in less time, and I'm not as stressed as I was before. I don't know how it happens, but that's usually one of the outcomes that people have from going through B-School. So I think it's important to always invest in yourself and your education, but specifically around B-School, we're not into working all the time. I don't want people working 24/7, 365. There are moments where you've got those little bites and bursts of hustle. That's great, but it's not sustainable over the long term. And so even more than the business strategy, I think another layer of B-School is it's about creating a business and life that you love. We can't forget that life piece. And so you'll be able to reshape how you do your business so that you're not last on the list, and that you're not driving yourself towards burnout.
I think this is so important. I think so many of us who get so passionate, and we're often multi-passionate, it's like we have so many things going on. Yeah, hello, marieforleo. And we're like, oh, another bright, shiny thing. Oh, and I could do that. And as you start to train your entrepreneurial mind, or if you innately think like this, we see opportunities everywhere. And the thing about that is we need to learn to hone them and harness them and pull them back in, and also chop off the unnecessary. And I know as I went through with, you know, mentoring my B-Schoolers last year, that was something that we did a check on every single week. Every time I did a Zoom with them, I'd be like, okay, what's our focus this week? And then I'd check in again with them next week. So I'm going to be right alongside everyone, helping them out there. I noticed there's a whole lot of questions coming up. Should we answer a few of those before we dive into some more stuff? Is that all right?
Of course.
I know someone said, can you give a shout out to Sydney? Which would be, yes, Marie.
Of course, shout out
I'm
to
in
Sydney.
Marie,
yes.
Marie's in the US. So people are saying I wonder about, this is Melanie. She says, I wonder about the fear of starting something new in a time of uncertainty. And I'm sure that's something on a lot of people's lips. To that, I would say, this is kind of almost the perfect time, because there's so much changing. There's so much opportunity moving forward to do things differently, to reshape, restructure, reimagine what we do. What would you say to that, Marie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, we have history as a guide where so many huge, enormous brands that are still around today were started during downturns or the Depression, or times when so many other people were pulling back in fear. I was just in New York City a couple of days ago, and, you know, the pandemic, obviously, there was a lot of storefronts that went away, but then I also noticed there were a lot of new restaurants that had just opened. And you know what, Lisa? They were full. And it was like, so somebody had the idea and said, oh, real estate's down right now. This is an opportunity to start that new cafe that I'd been thinking about. And they went and they did it. So I think the fear is normal, but the fear is always going to be there. I think we can always find something to be afraid about. That's just human nature. But I often like to time travel in my mind. And I think back to, 20 years ago, if I didn't take that leap and say no to the corporate job and say no to the promotion. I was at a time working in the world of magazines, and Vogue had offered me a job. So it was like this tract and this trajectory of not only healthcare and benefits, but a prestigious job and stability. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go do this weird life coaching thing, even though I'm 23 and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I'm so insecure and I have so much fear. And time traveling now, like, oh, thank goodness I trusted myself. Thank goodness I said, okay, I'm afraid and I'm still going to move forward. So that's one piece of it. And then I would say the other piece of it, specifically as it relates to B School, and again, I'm biased, so I want you to join if it feels right for you, because I know what the outcome will be, is that we back everything up with 100% satisfaction guarantee. I remember what it's like to make an investment in yourself. I remember how scary it is. And I want people to feel secure knowing that, hey, if you come and you give it your best and you do the work and you're like, this isn't for me, we'll give you your money back. Like, nothing lost. You'll learn something without a doubt. That's why we always ask for the homework, because I know it'll change the way that people think and it'll help them make smarter decisions in the future. But yeah, in terms of your investment, you're safe with us. So we can't do anything else besides then just tell you, come on, jump in. It's going to be a wild ride, as entrepreneurship is for everyone, but that fear is going to be there. It's going to be there throughout your entire life. And you don't want to look back and regret in 5 or 10 years from now thinking, what if?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you were talking about, I think we all have different experiences, and my experience is mine, yours is yours. I got fired from my job in 2001, but in the most beautiful way possible. My boss said to me at the time, because I kept saying, you took me back then talking about time traveling. I kept saying, I want equity in this business. I didn't even know what equity meant, right? But I was just some little punk who wanted everything. And he said to me, Lisa, I think you should go and start your own business. And I remember so vividly, I had $4,000 to my name, and his name is Adam. He is one of the most extraordinary people. I've never stopped thanking him because he gave me, I guess, the push that I needed to just start, and I was uncertain. I had no idea about business at the time. And, it was the most extraordinary thing that I ever did. So thank you. If anyone has any questions, just post them below. Have you got a little more time? Are you good for
Yeah, I've got about 5 more minutes and then I'll need to boogie, but I'm good for a few more.
Perfect. So if anyone has any questions, put them in there quickly. Just tell me your favorite model. What's your favorite model? Your favorite module in B School?
Because I actually have 2. So I love the bookends of 1 and 6, and here's why. So Profit Clarity, module number 1, there is just so much good stuff that gets unearthed about who you are, about your strategic positioning in the marketplace, about the profit clarity and understanding, once again, not just the financial profit margins, but about the joy and the fulfillment that everything that you're doing in your business, what's that ROI look like? So that whole piece in the beginning, I just feel like it's like when you get that, it's like, and we also talk about one of my other favorite concepts, simplify to amplify, right? It's like, If you're doing too many things in your business and you're spread too thin and you don't know what's going on, it's like, we can cut that back. We can prune it back. And most likely we're going to have you skyrocket forward in a way that just feels so much less stressed, less burnout, less overwhelmed. So that piece, I love module 1. But I also love module 6, marketing, 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 because once you've done all this great foundational work and you have products and services that practically sell themselves and you have this incredible communication plan, you know who your ideal customer is, then to be able to understand on a deep level how to create offerings that make people want to say yes. And to be able to understand why people procrastinate, how you can authentically and genuinely inspire them to get off the fence and say yes, so you can help them get results, whatever the outcomes are that you help provide in your business. Man, Lisa, that's like a superpower. And most people have such, again, negative connotations with marketing, understandably, because there's a lot of people that use that power for not so good. But when you're a big-hearted creative and you understand those underpinnings and you can use that for win-win situations where you help people get to the place where they most want to get to, and at the same time it serves you and your business and you're making a bigger impact, it's like mind-blowing. And so I love teaching people that, and I love seeing really the transformation that happens from the mindset shift of coming into module 6 and going like, oh, do I really have to do marketing? Like, oh, I can't someone else do it. I can't stand it. And they're like, oh my God, I love marketing. I had no idea I couldn't love marketing. Like, this is so much fun. I have all these ideas for these campaigns and this is how we'll do this. And it's just like they're just lit up. And so that's a really fun piece for me.
Yeah, I love that you say that. And you know, it's so important. So many people, actually Scott Hendo, who's one of our great editors in Australia, just joined the conversation. But I also come from a background of, you know, magazines and print media and content creation. And it's really only in the last 2 years that I have completely pivoted to be primarily an e-commerce business. I've always loved marketing, but all the fundamentals that you teach are phenomenal. Just a couple of questions here. Mel has come in saying, is the course suitable to experienced business owners? She came in a little late, and I would say absolutely yes. Mel, both Marie and I have been talking about the fact that I'm in my 20th year of business. Marie's in her 20th year of business. We're both learning all the time, and we have a lot of experienced business owners. And someone else here, Perez Lisa says, can you start a business at 56 years old? Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. 56 years young, let's say.
Young.
We've had B-schoolers in, I believe, their 70s and 80s. We've had folks who bought their first laptop to be able to do this. I know of an artist in her late 60s who took her business online, thriving. And for that other question, you know, is it suitable for experienced business owners? Definitely. I'm sure, Lisa, you're going to put up this live again or have people be able to watch the replay. For that person, please watch it, because Lisa and I did go deep on that. I know somebody else said, oh my goodness, I'm a B-schooler. Can I jump in again with this live course? Yes, you can. That's probably one of the best things about B-school. Once you're a B-schooler, you're a B-schooler for life. So you can come back, take advantage of the live coaching, take advantage of all the new things that we're doing, the live session, everything, and you don't have to pay again.
And there's a link up in my bio, everyone. If you want to join, just jump up there. There's like so much information. Josie is saying, what's the duration of the course? So
yeah. So it's 6, we drip it out over 6 weeks, just because I don't want people to get overwhelmed, and I really want to kind of walk you through the foundation. But there is this huge entire library of bonuses that you also get access to. So you don't have to go through the course during the 6 weeks. Like, you might get so much out of module 1 that you want to press pause, go activate on all that, and then you can come back in. So it really is both go at your own pace, and I like to walk you through it to make sure that you really understand the arc, and then you can revisit as much as you want.
Yeah. And for anyone watching who's going to sign up through my link up above, who's in Australia or elsewhere, I'm going to be there right by your side every week live. So every Thursday night, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. we have an hour and a half together. I take no more than 20 people in Zoom calls, and we have a great relationship, and it's an amazing experience. So I can't wait to see so many people. Okay, White Earth says, I need this in my life. I am in. Yes, big shout out to you. Okay, any more questions or anything else, Marie, that you would like to add in? Any last bits of wisdom, advice, takeaways for people that are watching this?
Yes. So I think that there is such enormous opportunity, really, for people who are just willing to be courageous about who they are, about what they offer, and the value that they can deliver to another human. So many folks kind of start in their little half in, half out, and I don't want to bother anyone, and I don't want to be this, and I want to be that. We are starving for humans who have a big heart and who are here to say, yes, I can. That is what you would like to be. I'm telling you, don't think about, oh, the market's so full, this, it's not. Trust me, I've seen this for 20 years. If you're willing to jump in and go for it and really get the education, the sky is the limit for where you can go. And there's one more thing I do want to say. For anyone thinking that it's all been done before, I just want to remind you of this. You have never been, and you probably never will be, as far as we know. There's never going to be another you on planet Earth. So nobody has your skills, your stories, your perspectives, all the different unique, beautiful things that make you you. And if you don't take this time to figure out how to share your gifts with the world, it will have lost something truly irreplaceable, which is you. So you are a one-time mega event in the universe. If growing your business, starting your business, getting your gifts out into the world through the vehicle of entrepreneurship is something that turns you on and lights you up, come join us, because it will be the ride of your lifetime. You know, if we're not your style, great, but get an education someplace else, because there is no other ride like this one. And you will always, always, always thank yourself for taking that leap.
Amazing. Thank you. There are so many things you just said there. Highly saturated market. Great time to jump in. There is no one else like you. Abso-freaking-lutely. And I think this is a beautiful, beautiful time to come on the journey with you and I. A lot of people are saying, how do we join? There is a link in my bio, so jump up there and you'll find all the information. Marie, I adore you. Our community adores you. Australia is thrilled, I can say on my behalf, Australian entrepreneurs, to have you as part of our community. And I can't wait till the world opens up again and I can come visit you in person.
Yes, please.
But I look forward so much to following along with our this year's intake of B Schoolers, and we will be right there beside you. So thank you so much. Have the most beautiful night.
Absolutely.
And we'll chat really, really soon. Thanks,
Bye,
everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Big love. Bye. Bye. I'm just going to stay on for a sec. Hey, everyone. Isn't she just spectacular? I love her. Hey, Liz. And now I can see so many of you. It's so beautiful to have you here. For anyone wanting to join, last year I was a partner with B School. I think there's maybe 3 of us in Australia. And I had a cohort and I said to them, oh, I'll do some bonuses. I'll do 3 Zoom calls, and I ended up doing, I think, 10, because I fell so in love with all my B Schoolers. So if you want to join, jump up into the link in my profile. We are kicking off on the, I think it's the 2nd of August. So on the 5th of August, I'll do my first Zoom with everyone live. I keep the Zooms to 20 people maximum, and we have an hour and a half together each week. We all get to know each other really well. We get to support each other and go on the journey. In 20 years of business, there is little that I haven't experienced, so I literally will hold your hand. 3 of my B Schoolers I now give work to. Amanda has become my sole recruiter. She does all my recruitment now. Carla has been doing some design for us. So yeah, there's lots of different bits and pieces that come out the other end, and it's a great way to connect and hold each other's hands through everything. So if you're interested, jump up into the link in my bio and join this cohort this year. Hey, Shell, love doing B School with you too, my beautiful. Oh, I missed you guys. We have to have a catch up very soon. I think we all became so close and such good friends and all supported each other so much. It was a really, really beautiful experience. Yeah, so I'll be doing a Zoom call every week with my B Schoolers, and we'll also give you access to my masterclasses and send out a whole lot of books. There's, I think, about 3,000 Australian dollars worth of bonuses that I've put in for anyone who does it with me. So thank you, Amy. Hey, Shell. Yes, good to catch up, and we will. And Liz, sounds like you're going to join. Anyway, so beautiful to see so many of you. I should do more lives more often, because it's just nice seeing so many beautiful comments. Redbubble, do you take existing B Schoolers? You can continue to do B School, but I am just taking a new cohort as part of, that's the only mentoring that I'm offering at all for 2021. So All right. Thank you, everyone. Have the most beautiful day. Stay safe, stay well, stay positive, and do whatever it is that sets your heart on fire. Mwah.